Cleff the God versus Dcroft, the most exciting matchup of the LCQ live event, and really excited to break this one down. Now, they did have some technical difficulties getting into this game. We will be doing a breakdown on Chosen and Delorio. We'll be doing that in a separate video on the channel, so make sure that you're subscribed, but want to go ahead and get into this one. This is, like I said, Cleff the God versus Dcroft. All right, so first play here, Dcroft going to be on offense, meaning that Cleff is going to get the ball back in the second half to start out. And then also appears like they just took a touchback at the 20 or just maybe ran it out slightly past the 20. Dcroft, what's really interesting about this game is they both come in running the Banker Dimes offensive playbook. So if you want to learn pretty much everything that you need to know about that offense, you're going to see a lot of the stuff in this little video here, but we'll go ahead and also leave links to I don't know if Cleff has a site. I'll leave a link to his Twitch down there in the description. I'll also leave a link to Dcroft's site over at civil.gg. All right, so starting out, little playmaker to the outside, and that is one of the best routes in the game. The running back cross flat. Got kind of a poor animation there, but ended up still being able to scamper for about 4 yards. And you're going to see here this audible out of bunch mesh drive. Going to keep this stem down corner here on the right side. Going to get kind of a flip wheel, kind of an awkward way to get to Durham, and really didn't work out. I think that route is vastly overrated, that running back wheel. It is cool. It does kind of get in a nice spot, but oftentimes, as you saw right there, the running back gets caught up in the line of scrimmage. So that's going to be a 3rd down and 7 motion HB choice here for Dcroft. Good switches from Cleff. Good read underneath there to the running back. And what you're going to see in this game is you're going to see high-level switch sticks on both sides. Both these guys really good with the switch stick feature defensively. And we'll see what Dcroft does defensively in this matchup. But Cleff going to be primarily in this dollar defense. Notice Dcroft does have something on those tackles. I don't know what it is, but he does have something. He might have Pass Pro, might have Matador, but he has something there to help out with the sheds of the defensive ends. Again, shout out to the MCS broadcast for the split screen view here. This was obviously one of the most anticipated, probably the most anticipated quarterfinal matchup. They not only had a ton of connection issues, but we're also spending the entire first drive in a split screen. So unfortunate. But there you see Forte able to get out of there. One of the things I wanted to highlight here for this is this real quick here from Dcroft. So what you're going to see is that Cleff is in dollar. If you didn't know, Dollar's really good at shooting the run this year. If your user, which as you see here, he stands slightly, he's basically right behind the DT, he's going to loop in and be able to stop most runs. But notice what Dcroft does. He IDs the user there, and he's going to basically just miss the tackle. Dcroft kind of speed bursts out of there, and really it just comes down to Cleff kind of missed the tackle. The shoot was there, but Dcroft able to get out of there, and he's able to get 7 points on his first drive without taking a ton of time off of the clock. All right, so they finally go to full screen, Dcroft and Cleff here, so excited about that. We'll hopefully get a little bit more into the schematics here. 7-0, whenever you're playing this is basically, you basically come into this table with 2 players that are very similar in skill, right? These 2 players, top 15 in the world for as long as I can remember, right? Have been really good every single year. Now, what's interesting is that Dcroft's going to run a little 3-3 odd in this one, and Cleff going to start out with an RPO look on his left side, might check to a run here. And that was a very free RPO. He actually has this RPO, may have been anticipating the switch stick. If you guys don't know, on the RPO plays this year, a lot of them you can hot route. He goes to the motion RPO right here, and he has a streak, a slant, and then he has a flat. The read key, or the guy that he's probably keying, is really this guy right here, more than likely. And as he looks at this defender, you see that this defender kind of freezes. With a good free form in this game, this is a very throwable flat route, able to get out of there for easy yardage. He also can just let the game hand the ball off to the running back there and, just get up for a couple of yards there on a 2nd and 6. So that RPO going to be something to watch out for. He's actually going to go through, change some audibles. I don't know if maybe he got a different audible, but we're going to see a pause here. A lot of issues with this game in terms of the technical difficulty aspect, but we are going to get back into it. Again, I don't know if he's changing audibles or what. All right, it looks like for whatever reason, Clef's audibles didn't save, so he wanted to go ahead and get those fixed up. Again, here you see the show blitz of the linebackers, but this is the combination I want to highlight for what Cleff ends up going to. Hopefully, we'll get a chance to just see it right here. So what you're going to get is you're going to get double streaks. You're going to get a slant and a flat. What's really nice about this slant flat combination is this spacing switch table is the best running back route probably in the game. It's very effective against man and zone. Really, there's only one counter, and the counter is to have a flat, and the flat has to either be from this guy or it has to be from this guy. So, and also that flat has to be a hard flat. So what Dcroft, or what Cleff is probably anticipating here is a flat, an outside third, a middle third, a deep half of some type, and a cloud, maybe, and then probably like a hook here or a hook here of some type. Okay, that's pretty standard. So the read is really here, looking at this guy right here to see what he ends up doing. If he dives down on the table, this slant is going to get across the field. It's going to get into a nice spot over here. If this guy obviously backs up, then you can just throw the spacing switch. We'll go ahead and just pause it and give you a quick glimpse of the coverage here. So you see a send 1, 2, 3, and it looks like 4. And then you kind of get what I was talking about. You get third in this case. Looks like maybe a curl flat, and then a hook apparently here with this guy doing something. I don't know what he's on. He's kind of running all over the field. But basically at this point, you could throw that. You got this little return route, throwable here. And so you'll see here Cleff just dump it down to his return route, try to speed burst out of there with Steve Smith, and he gets up to the 42-yard line. Reason I spend most of my time in these breakdowns on the first couple drives is because you kind of get a feel on the first couple drives for how this game's going to go. One of the things you'll see a lot, and I was actually thinking about this, Bill Walsh had this principle. I want to say it was from Bill Walsh, and I think it was the first 15, but it's essentially like scripting the game. And so having essentially a play script that you're going to go through, and we're going to run this, and then we're going to run this, and then we're going to run this, and then we're going to run this. We're going to see how the defense handles like some of our bread and butter things. So one of the things that should always be on your script in the first drive is an inside zone of some type, right to left. You see the good handoff here, and you're going to see Cleff get out of there with Forte. He's in speed burst out there and be able to finish that run and get a big run over the top. So Dcroft got a big run, but really that was from a failed gap shoot. But I want you to notice what Cleff sees on this run, and this is actually really, really important. If you ever face a defense, I'll tell you, one of the best things you can do in these film rooms is understand what defense they're playing and how they counter the defense. If you're a good offensive player, yes, you're going to have plays that beat everything. Okay, I totally am a believer in everything beaters, power plays, money plays, whatever you want to call them. But the other thing that I'm a big believer in is understanding the strengths and weaknesses of the specific defense that you are playing. This 3-3-5 odd defense, this, at least the way Dcroft's running it here, the way that normally you see this ran is this guy is going to be a user and he's going to hover over this gap and shoot. What you see Dcroft do here is he leaves this guy mugged, he leaves this guy mugged. So now what you're able to do if you're Cleff is you say, you don't have anyone to shoot the run. Let me just try this run. And you see that looked very, very free. So as this game goes on, if Dcroft continues to give him this look, Cleff is going to continue to run the ball. And why wouldn't you, right? So if you're ever playing 3-3-5 odd and they're not hovering over the center to shoot the run, you got a good look to run the ball. Okay. If you've been enjoying this breakdown, I always want to encourage you to join our school community. Madden is a game of knowledge. And if you have the information that you need, it really comes down to execution, which you can get through practice, repeated practice in whatever scheme it is that you're running. So I'd encourage you to sign up for our school community, school.com/Cody Ballard. And Dcroft is going to take this thing to the crib on the kickoff. Shout out to the kick returns. I watched way too many people get kickoffs for touchdowns in this event. You should not be kicking the ball to a receiver. You should be kicking the ball to the back of the end zone. At least that is my big takeaway from the LCQ event. Do not bother trying to kick the ball in the landing zone. Kick the ball out of the back of the end zone and make them have to actually play offense, because I saw way too many free kick returns. But anyways, if you guys want to take your game to the next level in Madden 26 and college football 26, I'd encourage you to join our school community. It's only $10 and that covers both games. We cover both games in the same site, and you're going to get everything that you need to know to win more games, right? Everything that you need to know to win more games. It's all broken down in detail on our school site. So if you want to sign up, that link is going to be in the description below. All right, so kind of a crazy deal. We got a big run back to back, and then we got a big kick return. And now let's see what happens here on drive number 2. Now, I was talking about it. Cleff's going to run the ball a lot. I think he ran the ball right there. 2nd and 5. He ran this combo quite a bit this game, and I was really interested in, I would be curious to know from Cleff what we've seen this combo all year, but what we've normally seen is a slot fade. Now that slot fade is really good because the slot fade is going to pull the outside quarter. It's also going to pull, it's also going to bomb any kind of cover 4 match. It's also going to pull anything back for the table, like a lot of use case in that route. But what you see Cleff do is he runs a lot of seam streaks. I think, and this is me guessing, right? But he runs a lot of seam streaks. I think there's 2 reasons. Number 1, you could free form a seam streak against man coverage. But number 2, if Dcroft was to switch onto this defender to go guard the crosser, you could then free form the streak almost like a post into that area. Or let's say that Dcroft is going to switch stick onto this guy to guard the crosser. Then this guy's going into this area. I could freeform this fade out here, or streak, I could freeform it out there. So that might be why he's using a streak. It's just really interesting to me because most of the year this season, we've seen consistently a slot fade on that player. But in this event, we saw a lot of streaking of the solo wide receiver. So anyway, kind of broken play. Good defense from Dcroft, able to handle that for the most part. Really good switch stick. That's what Dcroft brings to the table. Got a pretty decent switch stick defensively, and we'll see what that's able to do for him here. The show blitz got a really nice alignment. He's getting a good alignment from this because he's keeping those corners backed off. Not sure exactly how he's doing that off the top of my head with his looks, but basically what I think he might be doing is he might just not be putting his safety depth on close and pinch and just using the show blitz depth. So don't know. But anyway, 3rd and 5, we'll see what Cleff dials up. He's going to go to the double streak, and I like this combo right here. So he actually gets bagged, but he has things wide open. Number 1, Dcroft kind of does an interesting adjustment right here on the right-hand side, and this kind of highlights probably, we talked a little bit about the con of the 3-3-5 odd, the way that Dcroft was running it. This is probably the positive of the 3-3-5 odd. What he's going to do right here is he gives you the same look every single time. But now take a look at what he does. He's going to send pressure. So he's going to send 1, 2, 3, 4 off of this edge right here. Okay. So at this point, the throw is really here. Okay. And I don't know what this adjustment is, if it's a man up or a bluff blitz, but for whatever reason, this plays pretty good. And you see Dcroft switches onto it really well. And that little switch right here, he could take that away. He could kind of midpoint here. Like, it's a tough read from Cleff, and because Cleff sends 5 out, you're seeing clean pressure. The beauty of 3-3-5 odd is you can send pressure left or pressure right, and it looks identical. What you'd probably want to see here is like a playmaker up maybe, but Cleff knows he's going to have this curl late, and he will throw it, but he just kind of gets it, throw out a sack and not able to get it done. And that's going to put him on his first 4th down of the game. 4th down, obviously, the money down in Madden. Gotta have it. Who's going to get it done on this 4th down? Ball's on the 30-yard line, on the right hash mark. And I would think X cross here from Cleff, but we'll see what he ends up deciding to do. Nope, he's going to go to drive under and go to the mesh combination and actually throw a seed. So this right here, Cleff totally could have gotten stopped on this drive. Like, totally could have gotten stopped right here. It's an interesting combo that he decides. Again, what people call on 3rd and 4th down, if you didn't know, if you ever watch a top-level player play, normally, and this should be true of you as well, watching this should be true of me as well, normally what you're going to see is on 3rd and 4th down, specifically 4th down, any kind of passing situation, they're going to call the play that they have the most amount of confidence is going to work, okay? Now, that might be a tendency thing, but oftentimes it's a play that they know they can trust in big situations. So what Cleff decides to do here is he goes to drive, I believe it's called drive under. It has a short corner here. It has, but really the reason you call the route is it has, I don't know that he hot routes this. It does have like a little in right here. But the reason you call the play is because it has a running back kind of speed in that's going to get underneath a lot of zones, and it's going to beat man coverage. Remember, last play, Dcroft manned up the running back. So what we're going to get here is you're going to get a flat, you're going to get a flat, you're going to get a drag, okay? So then you're going to get this little running back under route, and the plan is to use these flat routes to pull this flat zone all the way out, to pull this flat zone all the way out, and to put a lot of stress on whoever the hook curl defender is to now have to guard all of this grass on either side, which is very difficult to do. And then let's say Dcroft happens to have a couple hooks on the field, then you're going to get this kind of deeper in route that he can get to if the drags are taken away, okay? So you see here, he stems that in route up, but that's basically the combo, as I said. And what you get from Dcroft is you get a send 3. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. There's flat, that's read 1, read 2. Not really going to happen either direction. But now all of Cleff's attention is looking right here more than likely. Say, can I throw one of these routes underneath? That throw going to be hard because you can get a catch tackle, and then you see Dcroft's user is going to take the running back route across the middle of the field. So as Cleff seeing this, he knows that this is the right throw because it's kind of the only throw, right? It's the only throw that's really throwable, and he's going to be able to put this ball in a really tight window in a big down and big situation. When Dcroft honestly played really good defense and he saw Cleff's reaction, he knows it's a big dot. He gets all the way to his, third or fifth read, depending on how you would progress that play. And as the sigh of relief here, he's going to check into an inside zone. And you're seeing this inside zone, it is very free against how Dcroft's choosing to run defense. There's no plan based off how Dcroft's running this. There's literally no plan to stop the run. There's not a single one. So what you're going to see is Cleff's going to start to abuse it, right? Dcroft's not hovering. He's not stopping the run. He's not really doing anything different. And so you're going to see Cleff just start to go run. In fact, on the broadcast, they even highlighted here, he's going to go short side bunch, and this is a dead giveaway that this is a run play, because why would he do this? The reason why you would do this, and goes for any kind of formation that is not an offset formation. So bunch offset, this wouldn't apply. Trip side offset, this would not apply. But bunch X nasty, it applies. Bunch, it applies. Trips tight end, it applies. The offset running back puts the running back here. A regular formation puts the running back right here. And what you want is if your quarterback is right-handed, so Brock Purdy's right-handed, you want the running back to start on the right side. What that's going to do is it's going to give him a faster handoff animation when he actually hands the ball off. That's true for RPOs as well. Here you see Dcroft adding a little bit of a hover. Because it is second in inches, Cleff is probably just going to say, I'm going to test that hover, see how it does for you. And he's probably just going to run right again at it. I would think, nope, he checks to a pass because he sees Dcroft is now playing run defense, checks to one of his base passing plays, and there we see the power of this combo. A lot of people run this play, and they don't quite understand how to use it to its fullest potential against zone coverage. This play is really good because of these double streaks. They're very throwable against man coverage. So they make it so that it's really hard to justify playing man coverage. But then you get this little drag, return, and spacing switch table. So normally what you're going to do is you're going to let your drag run across the field, and you might throw him right here. Okay? And then you might throw the return route right there. However, what most people do is they let their tight end continue to run all the way across the field, including me, until he runs into the running back, which is not good spacing. But Cleff has the QB playmaker on Brock Purdy, and so all he's going to do is once he gets to here, right, there's no point for him to continue to run. You already have a receiving threat in this spot, but now because these streaks have ran off all these deep blues, you can playmaker this guy into the open space by holding left trigger and flicking the joystick in the direction you want the receiver to run, And as you see, he playmakers him up. There's, even if Dcroft wanted to switch stick, there's no one to switch onto that can guard it. He's got like 30 yards of separation in the middle of the field. There's nothing Dcroft can do. It's a very, very easy completion for Cleff. And what's really nice about that play, that is a literal example of a money play. It gives you an answer against every single coverage in this game. Going to bring up a red zone opportunity here for Cleff. Now he's going to put the slant on the field. And the purpose of the slant, I would guess, again, it's a little bit of a guess, but it's just to try to use that tight end as a throwable route on the sideline as opposed to playmaker. If he drags him, he's planning to playmaker him. But if he slants him, more than likely, I would think he's going to want to try to hit him on the sideline once he gets out of the hard flat. Here, Dcroft's going to check in a double mug. A little bit better run defense. I was actually shocked that Cleff passed right there, but he did decide to pass right there. Got screamed at, ended up throwing the ball away. But 3rd and 2 here from the 6. We'll see what Dcroft does. Okay, so right here, just want to highlight, he's using here. You could probably still run this ball. The run shoot from double mug is to actually use with this linebacker over the center. And it's interesting that Dcroft's doing that because Dcroft totally knows that's the case. So I'm just kind of curious why go to that. Maybe because he was trying to send 3. I don't know. But that's going to get us to a 4th and 2. So 4th and 2, Cleff kind of, didn't get the look he wanted. And now we get 4th and 2 from the 6-yard line. And we'll see what he's looking at here. He's got the crosser return route combination, and he's going to hit that tight end. Was that a tight end slant? That was. Okay. So, again, kind of that idea. You got crosser, you got table. Again, to guard this, you have to have a flat. If this guy blitzes, really the only person that can guard the running back is this guy right here. So what you're going to see here is that guy blitzes. Cleff knows this guy's in a hard flat. He has to be. Otherwise, this is free. And then the user, basically Cleff, I would assume his eyes are just reading Julius Peppers. And he sees here that Dcroft goes to the crosser. And this is a very wide open play. Even I think Dcroft's kind of trying to switch onto this to go guard it. But it's a really nice throw on time. And he is able to get into the end zone for a touchdown. It's a really good drive from Cleff. And be interesting to see how things shape up as we kind of head towards the second quarter. 14-14 ball game. Dcroft got a big run. He also got on a missed gap shoot, and he got a kick return. Cleff got a big run, and then he had a little bit of a drive there where he actually had to score inside the 5. So we'll kind of see what ended up going on with what ends up happening here with Dcroft on his really second possession of the game. A second set of plays that we're going to see kind of how Cleff starts to adjust and adapt to it. Madden Bowl, February 7th. Really looking forward to that, man. It's going to be a good time. So there you see there's a shoot. And he's actually getting really good blocking on that. Like, got another really nice run there. I wonder if I don't know. It's hard to see. Yeah, so he is ID in Cleff's user for whatever that's worth. I don't know. I mean, it's working for him. I don't know that it works every time. But, I mean, Cleff's user is definitely getting hung up with that ID. And that was a free, 20 yards. And he almost got out of there. So, I mean, so far, the run game, ironically, for really both these guys, coming in handy in a situation. Here's that flipped. So I just wanted to break down how he's doing this. If you guys don't know this, I still see a lot of people that just don't know this or think, I don't know. I just want to highlight this while we see it here. So you see here, he comes out in this play, SFT bounce mesh drive. This has a running back on an auto motion that's going to put the running back on the other side, and then he's going to run the route. Now, what Dcroft's going to do is he's going to flip it, and he's going to come out in its short side. So you'll see right here, he comes out in short side bunch. Now, what he does is he stems this corner route down. That does nothing to do with the flip glitch. But basically, he's going to flip the play. If you audible or flip the play and you go into a auto motion play, what happens is when you flip, if you pull this hot route menu up, you'll see right here, he pulls this hot route menu up and he immediately puts this running back on a wheel, and that running back will run the wheel to the opposite side because the game thinks that the running back's actually over here and you're putting him on a wheel. Okay, so that's how you do the flip streak. It also works for things like auto motions on tight ends or slot receivers as well to get them flipped hot routes. Surprised that this wasn't patched, honestly, just because some of the other route glitches were patched, but this auto motion thing has been in the game for a long time and for all year really. So anyway, does a dig return there. Cleff's guy ends up falling down, and that's gonna take us to the end of the first quarter. All right, so second quarter of action. Dcroft getting down here in the red area. He's going to go to motion HB choice. And, this is one of his plays. And he's going to hit an absolute beam. Let's go ahead and back up the film here. Now, why does Dcroft call this play? I want to kind of understand why call this play right here. Because the throw is just an inside pass lead possession catch for a touchdown right there. I mean, it's a really nice dot. I'm not sure exactly why he calls this one specifically, but this guy, he really doesn't do anything. And he throws it right on time, gets what he wants. Maybe he just thought Cleff was going to be in that coverage. Normally that's like a one-play touchdown type of play, which there technically was a one-play touchdown, but that's actually not normally how the route is used. It's normally like a later in the play throw. So it's just kind of interesting that Dcroft decides to go to it there. The other reason why he might have ran that right there is because as you get down in the red area, you're going to get a lot more shaded down hook coverage. All right, so Cleff going to get this ball out to about the 21-yard line. There's a little replay. Nice throw in the seam, in the skinny, able to hit it. All right, so he is hovering now to stop the run. He's still getting really good run lanes. So here's another thing to kind of think about real quick with this run game, just to kind of highlight how there is a level of detail that's going on here. So again, what you're thinking, right, is that this guy will shoot through and stop the run. But what ends up happening on this block is he actually gets really muddied here. So you could do one of two things. You could cut it out. You could cut it straight up. But the other thing that you could do as you're kind of looking at this tape, you could cut it out and look at the blocks. You get 1, 2, like if everybody makes their blocks right here, this looks like a touchdown. Okay, when you slow it down like that, it kind of looks like it could be a touchdown. I think Cleff tried to do that. That's why his facial expression there might have messed up the speed boost or whatever. But he definitely gave a facial expression look like, man, I thought I was going to get more out of that. So the other thing is now Dcroft pinching the line. Now Dcroft starting to do a little bit more in the defense to stop it. But what you're seeing is a significant weakness of 3-3-5 odd. It does not do a great job of stopping inside zone, right? So Cleff really hasn't even had to pass yet. Third and 2 here. Finally, we're going to get an X cross set up. This is one of the main reasons why you'll see bunch X nasty players. They're either going to be in Binker Dimes or they're going to be in Chiefs, and it's primarily for this play. It has a really, really unique corner route that's going to do a really good job of kind of attacking that sideline in a quick manner. You're then going to get typically a streak, a slot fade, and then you have this running back cross route that's really good. And then you also have kind of a backside return route. It's just a basic high-low, but the routes are actually really, really high level. So you're going to see here he sends 4 at the quarterback, and you're seeing that X cross corner wide open. That's kind of your main read on the play. But Dcroft would normally switch that, didn't switch it, and you're going to get a 1st and 10 on the 47. Good job by Cleff hitting that route. Again, Cleff is going to be getting ball at half here, so you're starting to look at this as a little bit of a clock management piece. And if Dcroft's not able to stop this run, Cleff could, in theory, actually take this clock down. What's really interesting to me is he chooses not to. And when you get to like this awkward position about midfield, there's 4 minutes left. It's obvious that Dcroft's not doing a great job of stopping your run game. To me, you start to actually put yourself in a position where you almost have to clock, right? You almost have to, because if you don't, Dcroft's going to be able to clock you out. And so here, like right there, when he gets, so 3rd and inches here, I'm kind of surprised that he doesn't take all this clock, get this under 3 minutes, or get it closer to under 3 minutes, provided that he gets a 1st down here. Now, I would honestly run the ball here, because Dcroft's just shown you nothing to stop it here. And this is what I talk about. I talk about this all the time. This is the importance of having a layup throw, okay? Cleff goes to a play. He's ran this play a lot this game, right? He's using the slant. He's using this. Why use the slant? Again, I'm kind of guessing at this, but if this is a hard flat, that slant is going to get kind of open right about there in that little area. So I would think that's partially why. But the other thing here is the first read every single time on this play, I would think, is this flat right here. You're just looking out here. Dcroft puts this guy on a cloud on 3rd and inches. Really interesting decision. And we're just going to hit the running back, get our first down yardage, and call it good. And he goes out of bounds. Also surprised that Cleff went out of bounds there. Cleff is kind of playing this as if he thinks there's still going to be an additional possession. And I'm just not sure why he played this way, okay? Just because it puts him in a really awkward position on the back end of the half here. The clock management, like, you could easily be under 2 minutes probably at this next play call. And instead, we're probably not going to be even under 3 minutes. So, and it's a big difference. It's a big, big, big difference. So there you see Dcroft changes defenses, though. I will highlight that real quick. He goes to double mug. No, I'm sorry. He stays in 3-3. My bad. Yeah, he stays in 3-3. And that was crazy switches right there from Dcroft. Really nice switches. Good scramble from Cleff. Turns kind of a waste play into a positive play. Second down and 3 from the 31-yard line. I mean, you got to run the ball here, don't you think? But he's not. It's just odd. So this is X-Cross. This is just a different way of getting to it. So you still utilize this flat. You're now using a slot fade, a streak, and a tight end corner. This will do a little bit better of a job of getting over the top of curl flats. It'll also do a little bit better job against match coverage. So those are a couple of the use cases for that. But sometimes, as you saw right there, the tight end got stuck at the line of scrimmage and didn't able to get up there. Dcroft, a little frustrated, thought that could have been a catch knockout, but wasn't. He did a nice job there of hitting that return route. Got him a first down. But again, it's kind of the thing I've been saying, this whole drive. Odd, very odd to me, clock management, because you're playing a Dcroft, someone that's known probably for their offense more so than their defense. Really good switch stick, really good pocket presence. Yeah, just kind of interesting. I feel like this drive, like I said, I just thought the clock management on this one was odd. Short side combo, going to use that slant, throws that seam streak, not able to hit it. Very frustrated at that reality. But again, no real attempt to clock this, no real attempt to control the clock. Another reason that was mentioned on the broadcast, I think Henry, maybe Cleff just has confidence in his defense and he wants to try to get a stop before half. That could be it as well. But just seemed really odd to me when you're playing someone like a Dcroft. There he goes back to that drive under that he called on that 4th down on the first drive of the game. He goes back to that in that situation, hits that quick in. Dcroft kind of used it about the same. And, Cleff just kind of popped that in route right in there, and Dcroft was not able to stop it. So ball on the 15-yard line. Dcroft now going to jump back in double mug. Now, again, it's really interesting to me that Dcroft is deciding to use her here. Okay. Normally, if you're going to use her, you're going to use her this guy because it gets the run. You're not going to be able to run the ball. We haven't seen Cleff try to run the ball against this look, but I'd just be curious to see it. Here he's going to go 15 different slot fades in a streak, and I thought this was just an odd. I don't understand. This is what I don't understand. So, it's cool, but, we've been dotting, doing stuff like this all game. Why not do this, even though you are in the red zone? Why get away from some of these plays? Or, the curl. This could have been a really good time for mesh spot. I'm just kind of super interested as to the why a slot fade, a streak, a slot fade, and I just feel like you're not giving yourself a lot of answers. He does block the running back, so he's expecting pressure. So he's expecting blitz, 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 and then some form of coverage. But like, what are you throwing here? Nothing. I mean, this is actually open, which is hilarious because Dcroft only had to guard one route on the play. If you playmaker that, that's a touchdown probably. And just gets yelled at, gets sacked. That's a big sack to take, and now you're 2nd and 17. I mean, I didn't understand why you would call that play. I'm sure Cleff had a reason for it, right? Maybe he thought Dcroft was going to do something very specific that would have been open. But I just feel like where I kind of come back to the tried and true quality high level plays over time out leverage trying to call that one perfect money play. Anyway, right there, it goes to this. This is a play that he didn't use a ton in the tournament, but he did use it in interesting positions. And this is one of them right here. Let me see if I can get you the combo. So it's basically, it's kind of Cleff's way of getting to this same combo that Dcroft was running. He just gets to it from an angle route as opposed to a Texas, because where you're realistically going to throw the running back is going to be over here. But this is really good if they're manning up the running back. You have a high-low in your crosser and your drag. And then this guy will pull this flat defender out, and you can throw your Texas in that little window, and it will beat man coverage as well. So what you see here is you got flat, manned up the tight end, this guy wide open across the middle, and Dcroft just struggles to get there with his user, and he's able to get it all, pretty much all back. Now we're in a 3rd and 5 situation. Dcroft is using his timeouts. Again, I just want to continue to highlight, had he clocked at all, we would be very close to the end of the half here, but Dcroft's almost definitely going to get another stretch here. Kind of an interesting, and this is kind of what I was just talking about, man. I always think it's so fascinating. You'll watch somebody like Cleff's caliber, or you watch these top players, they'll get in a situation like this where it's like on the 15, on the 10-yard line, kind of an awkward down and distance, and they'll just start doing stuff. Like we'll just start doing, slot fade, streak, drag, and just call it good. Or we'll do some weird stuff like I don't even know. Like we'll just do a hitch, we'll just do weird stuff. Then on 3rd and 5, when you have to have it, what do? Well, you go to the play that makes logical sense. You go to smash return, and you give yourself multiple answers regardless of what Dcroft does. So what we have here is we have a slant, table, return, streak. The streak's not super relevant. Like it's fine. It's not a super relevant route. What I actually think makes a little more sense is maybe some type of deep out and then a deep in right here. Because what you get is you're going to get a streak and a deep stemmed up in route, which I don't know that super helps you. But basically the read here, that's actually pretty throwable, but he's not gonna. He's going to go to the slant here. And Dcroft's user does a good job running with the slant. So what's Cleff looking to? He's got that right there. Now, this is why I say I think that it makes more sense for this to be like a corner now that I'm looking at it, just because of where you're at. And then he actually ends up hitting the return route. Why wouldn't he? I said he was going to hit the end. But I mean, I guess he's just anticipating Dcroft's user to break there, and he knows this is just going to get open. And you just see in a big situation, in a big game, even in an awkward down and distance, in an awkward position on the field, you go to a combination that always works. Almost always will that combo work. It's a high quality combo that gives you answers against 99% of what you're going to see, as opposed to what he called on first down. All right, so 1st and goal from the 1 here. Cleff burns a timeout, not sure why. Dcroft's now out of timeouts, and again, you're in this weird position. What do? Do you take a knee? Do you QB sneak it? Do you try to run on the first 2 downs and then be in a clock situation? And again, that's kind of been the story of the whole drive. Had he just kind of clocked this out, it wouldn't be such an awkward position because Dcroft still got a minute 50. So kind of interesting how this all plays out here towards the end of the half. Calls power O. probably wanted to get tackled because now if you're Cleff, you're like, well, now it's obvious. I need to take all this clock. So I would think, shoot clock will keep an eye here, but he does have shoot clock on, 2nd and goal, and he's going to go to this toss, HB toss crack against this look. I've never seen this called and actually worked, but it worked there. I have no idea why it worked, but it worked. HB toss crack, why not? Throw it out there, see what happens for you. You probably won't score, but Cleff did right there. Minute and 11 in the second quarter, so you give Dcroft an opportunity for a field goal. You're 21-21. He does have 2 timeouts, but you're kind of in an interesting spot, right? Now, Cleff does get ball at half, so all is forgiven, right? But again, I just think if you clock that out a little bit more straightforward, you probably give Dcroft the ball back with 20 seconds or maybe no seconds. But here, Dcroft has plenty of time to do something. He's got a lot of opportunity to be able to go down there, get a field goal or something like that. All right, so here's the flip wheel from Dcroft. And throws the tight end, inbounds. Cleff going to just try to, the very least, Cleff hold a 3 here. 2nd and 2 from the 28-yard line. Going to do a little tight end wheel, a little double post combo out of that drive under with the running back speed in. Gets a nice block there, able to get up there, get out of bounds. It's a nice little play design. So real quick, just a really, really nice play design. If you're ever in this situation like Dcroft, this is a combo that is worth taking because take a look at what it does. It's very smart. So that Cleff is going to play defense a certain way. More than likely, because he doesn't want to give up a corner route over here, right? More than likely. So he knows that Cleff's probably got a 15-yard curl flat from this defender. So what he does is he puts his tight end on a wheel as a blocker, and then he has this low running back route that's going to get underneath, and the tight end will block for him. That's a really nice, impressive design. As you see, deep cloud flat, deep cloud flat. And so all this real estate, you get one block, and you're going to get up into field goal range. So it's just a really nice play by D. I thought that was one of the better plays he called, and just a nice play design. If I'm ever in a situation like that where I need to get down the field quickly, I don't have timeouts, I need to get out of bounds, that's a play worth calling. Now, he follows that up by calling this play, which I thought was a very odd play call to have. He calls dig return, still hits the table, and it works fine. But why would you call the zig? They're typically going to throw that in the middle of the field. I just didn't know why he would call that. There's a lot of other things you could have called. And unfortunately there for Dcroft, he does not get out of bounds. He's on the 47. He's got about 34 seconds. He's going to spike it here. So here's the interesting thing. So Dcroft's going to spike it here, okay, which is honestly fine. But Cleff has 2 timeouts now, and so you're in this kind of awkward position. Dcroft is going to probably just try to keep pushing the ball down the field, I would think. But if you have back-to-back incompletions, you could be in a spot here. So gets shedded, has to throw it away, kind of went for a 1-play touchdown. He is in field goal range, but he got shedded there, so now he's 3rd and 10. And now we're going to go mesh spot with the double streaks in the wheel. Has a stemmed up curl, trying to get a little closer for field goal range, I guess. Throws that, hits that, KO. You see Cleff's face. So Cleff now, if you're Dcroft, you have to take your field goal. Cleff now has got 2 timeouts, 20 seconds, and the opportunity to be able to go down and get 3 himself. So what's absolutely crazy to me is the awkward clock management by Cleff at the end of the half that even the best player of all time kind of questioned on the broadcast is now the very thing that gives him a potential here probably to be able to maybe answer right back. It's just interesting. But anyway, 16 seconds. You got to be really on your P's and Q's in this situation. That's a great kick by Dcroft. Lands it right in the landing zone. So he's actually going to have to be at the 20-yard line, which you definitely don't, you will ideally be at the 35. But anyway, let's get past that. Okay. So you're going to get from Cleff. We'll see what Cleff does here. But kind of same thing, right? Going into this drive, like it's a really big deal if Cleff can get about here. It really helps Cleff to get about there as far as the second half is concerned. So he realistically needs about 35 yards. But he's only got 16 seconds. So if you do the math on that, you probably got 2 to 3 plays. But look at, and you also, right? Like, this is going to be a deep cloud. This is going to be a deep curl flat. Like, right? Watch what he does. He first play of the game, or first play of the situation, he goes spacing switch, double streaks, or maybe a curl, drag return, a high quality play. He hits the running back table, and he takes that flat for 9 yards. So now he's down to 13 seconds, but he didn't have to use a timeout. He's able to just get out of bounds. So realistically, he's got basically 2 plays left. And now he needs about 24, 25 yards. So he goes to spacing switch, another high quality combo here, right? Where he's going to go to a play that consistently works. So now you get a hard flat, you get this kind of awkward user over the middle, and then you're going to get a scramble kind of in an odd position, has to get out of bounds there, or doesn't have to get out of bounds, but gets out of bounds there. And now he's down to 7 seconds. So the problem is here, or the trick of it is, needs about 10 to probably, needs about 15 yards to get there. He goes to this. He's able to break a tackle, able to get up, able to get a timeout right in there for a spot. So, really back-to-back, just kind of do everything plays. Goes to mesh spot with the wheel here. He looks out here. He already knows that's dead. He could maybe hit the tight end, but the only throw is over here. It's a good job by Cleff hitting him. And then it's even better job when he runs. Watch where he goes. So he cuts left, and then he's going to slam up field to get a couple extra yards. Boom. Able to just kind of get in that odd position. You see Dcroft just go crazy in the top left. And he's going to give up a field goal. The reason that this is so significant here is because Cleff is going to be able now to play the second half from the lead of the game because he gets the ball coming out of half. And provided that he gets a good quality drive on his first drive of the second half, he's going to be in a really, really good spot to win this game. And off the second half, Cleff gets the ball out to the 22-yard line. So 1st and 10 from the 22 here for CTG. See what he does. Dcroft staying in that 3-3 odd. We'll see. I put you an inside zone to start the half here, just to kind of see what things are looking like down that second half. Down that back end of the first half there, Cleff kind of went away from that, kind of went through some of his main plays. And, now going to just kind of see what that's looking like. Going to go to standard X-cross setup here. Also, he did a pickup there that I wanted to highlight. It's kind of an interesting pickup that he just did there. So he untargeted. Let me see if we can actually slow this down to see. He did a pickup 4-3-3. Yeah, it looks like he untargets this guy. Why would you do that? I would wonder. Because if you're getting this blitz, you would think that would guy. I don't know. I don't know why he does that. But anyway, he does it. And it works. It picks the blitz up. Anyway, hits the backside in route. We'll have to monitor that to see. I mean, Dcroft also got practically no pressure from 3-3 odd in this game, too, which is kind of interesting. Gotten a little bit, but not really a ton. Spacing switch. And yeah, just consistently hitting the layup for right there every single time. Maybe it's because you have to play cover 2 on the short side if you want to run that, but yeah, just kind of interesting decision. We'll see what he does pickup wise. Going to go to inside zone again. He got really fortunate there. Julius Peppers just crazy insta-shedded on that play. Really nice defense by him. 3rd and 9, gotta have it down. We're starting to get into some big moments in the game here. Cleff, you really, really want to get your touchdown on this drive to put yourself in a good spot here. So he goes to a really odd play. Really odd play, but it works. And he's going to score out of it too. Why not? Goes to this play, motion HB choice. Why go to this play? I don't know in that situation why go to it. He also doesn't, I don't think he stems this down. Normally you stem this down. I think if anything, he stems him up. Has that running back post. And really, I mean, it just kind of comes down to like the double clear outs of the streak here. Opens up a little pocket. And yeah, I mean, first time he's pretty much called that all game. And it worked out for him in a big spot. 3rd and 9, got to have it down. And that's a big touchdown there for Cleff. All right, so we'll see what Dcroft's up to. Yeah, Cleff's still popping this thing in the landing zone. That's a no, that was just a little bit outside of it. That's crazy that was so open. It was the only throw. It was the only route on the field that was open, but it was open. And I mean, just a crazy route. But it worked out for him. Really nice. I actually liked the combo, by the way. I just thought it was odd to go to it right there. Anyway, 34-24, 31-24. Love to see it. Little split screen here to see if Delorio can close it. Here we're going to get motion return, whip switch, double drag combo from Dcroft. First time we've seen that play. That is one of the plays that I believe is exclusively, it's only found in Binker Dimes. Anyway, that's going to bring up a 3rd and 11. And Dcroft kind of in a bag here early. He's going to do the tight end wheel with the corner route with the deep post. And this would be like, to me, he's going to get out of there with Caleb, and he's going to get a first down out of that. That's a crazy scramble by Dcroft. Again, got to have it downs, man. What do they go to? What do they call in these big situations? You're going to see here. Why does he go to this? This is a one-play touchdown against match coverage. The corner route also, it gets in a really nice spot. If you're going to do just a basic curl flat, this corner gets a really nice spot there. You also have a clear out for that running back post that Cleff just threw a touchdown on. So those are a couple of reasons here, but basically, you know, you kind of just get this like kind of bagged, and then you just get this amazing scramble from Dcroft. It's one of the things I think makes Dcroft really good at the game, and his everything Dcroft does with the quarterback, like pocket presence, scrambling, speed bursting, all those elements. Dcroft ran a lot of this combo right here that I'm about to show you. Dcroft ran a lot of this. This is dig return. He's going to use a flat, a streak, a cross, and then a exaggerated zig. I don't know why he ran this so much because I didn't really see it. Like, what I would assume is because he wants to playmaker this guy across, maybe. Yeah, so yeah, you see right there. So he playmakers him. But it kind of goes in an odd position. And then the crosser is kind of bagged too. And Cleff hasn't used anything yet. And you see almost there's an interception. That's why that route combo is always odd to me, because that doesn't really. It just, yeah, I mean, it's kind of like it's good. But is it better than some of the other things, right? As they get another disconnect. All right, so I feel like an idiot. I totally forgot as I was talking about that I did not realize that it was 4th down. I thought he got the first down in the scramble. I totally missed that. So it's 4th down. He goes to dig return in a big spot. So this is clearly one of his favorite plays, right? And I mean, I guess that's a little bit, I can understand a little bit more because like that's more throwable in that case. But yeah, he just basically gets switched on the crosser. And I mean, it's just very basic. Good switch stick by Cleff, and he gets the stop. All right, so 1st and 10, Cleff, 31-21. 2:55 left in the game, and Dcroft's going to switch out of this. He's going to get into double mug. Now, we'll see what Cleff decides to do, but he is going to run into this, and this is what I was trying to say earlier. Again, Dcroft came out here and ran odd, like, to me, just odd stuff. And I don't know why. Like, we've seen double mug. Like, you're going to see double mug throughout this event. You're going to see double mug probably in Madden Bowl. You're almost never going to see somebody that runs double mug user this guy when the run is going to go right there. You're always going to, almost always, you're going to see them user this guy here. This guy would be over here. and he would just blitz through this gap in a situation where you had a run. What that means is because that matters is because Dcroft is going to now use her the opposite way where he's used her on the other gap. The reason that's a problem is, as you see here, Cleff runs inside zone, and look at the easy yards. These are free yards. As you see, he gets upfield, he's out of there. It's a free touchdown. It's a free touchdown, not just free yards. And you see the importance of, and you just go like, I assume, right? Like both these guys, well-versed Madden players, they know this stuff. Why would you do that? Why would you use her there? I just so curious. Why would you not use her on the other linebacker where that's been a gap shoot all year? Did maybe Cleff have a block for it or something that we didn't know about? Or just seemed odd to do it that way. Maybe I think what it is I think it has to do with Dcroft's coverage. I think Dcroft wanted to run a specific coverage, and he was not able. He had to be on the other linebacker to do it. So anyway, doesn't matter. It's a free touchdown. It's 38-24. You've got 7 minutes left in your Madden 26 season, and you've got to fight. Let's see what Dcroft's able to do here. So now Cleff going to be a little bit more probably pass committee. So you should see better sheds here. And Dcroft himself going to get out there with Forte. And Dcroft's had some great runs this tournament, this game. Dcroft's on empty pass pro? Why not? Why wouldn't you be? Have yet to see anybody playing on empty pass pro as well. And you're getting DTA gapped. But the running back flies up there in a nice spot. Man, Dcroft's offense, 274, 3 touchdowns, just that unfortunate 4th and inches there. And you're going to see dig return here. I was shocked how much he ran dig return. I really was. And this is a cool combo right here, by the way. You're looking for a little dig return combo? This is a nice one. A little whip. It's a beautiful play. This crosser, great in the red zone because it's going to run across the back corner, can be thrown at the pylon. And so you see here, right, your progression. It's a great loop. And he's throwing probably a touchdown, but it's a hard catch to make. But that's what I was talking about with Cleff. You're going to see a lot more pass committing down in this situation. 2nd and 10 from the 15-yard line. Flips his bunch. And now he's going to audible out of whatever he was in. Yeah, he's definitely an empty pass, bro. He's going to go to that drive under play. Getting us shedded. And this is pass committed dollar. When you can pass, when you know somebody has to pass, the dollar pass commit, watch how fast they shed. You get crazy good sheds in this game if you pass commit in dollar. And that's partially why so many people are in it. Makes it hard to pass, but right there, Dcroft finds a beam for a touchdown. Quick highlight on the combo. It's that HB choice combo here. Cleff, 3rd and 10, decides to not have a hook curl or a flat. That cloud is way too far back. And, I mean, that's a very free touchdown for Dcroft right there. You see Cleff's face like, dang, I didn't, try not to give up everything in one play. I wanted to just get him on a 4th down. But, that flat was pulled out really well. All right, so 2-point conversion here. Love this combo, and surprised he runs it this way. I don't love how he ran it. It's going to work for him here. So this is another good, high-quality combo. If you're in Banker Dimes looking for red zone combos, you've got spacing. And what I wish he would have done, and what we've seen all year, is flat, return, flat, crosser. What Dcroft does is he does flat, return, crosser, return, flat. Okay. What I don't understand here, I don't know why I use that guy with flat, but ends up working out for him. It gives you these little pockets, and even though this is a hook curl, they just don't get out wide enough for these return and flat combos, and so you're able to just throw right at them. Nice play. Able to get a big 2-point conversion. And now it just kind of comes down to, can you stop Cleff? Can you stop Cleff? Right? You get one stop, you put yourself in a position to go win the ball game. You don't get a stop, you make things really, really hard for yourself. So it comes down to Cleff's offense versus Dcroft's defense, which is why I was saying Cleff has the opportunity in the second half. This is why you always, always, always want to kick off in the first half, because in the second half, you often have an opportunity to be able to play the game with a lead and put the game more in your offense's hands than your defense's hands in an offensive game. So as you see, still user on the left side. I'm shocked Cleff didn't run it. Oh, okay. That must be for a Texas 4-man stunt. Because right there, he ran a Texas 4-man. Just so interested in knowing why he users that way. Because it's definitely not to stop the run. He's going to do it again. He gets a decent pressure there. Cleff not able to get the ball to the return route. 2nd and 10 from the 39. Dcroft back in 3-3-5 odd. Cleff automatically goes to inside zone. The second he came out in 3-3-5 odd, Cleff automatically jumped into inside zone. Puts him in a 3rd and 3 situation. Again, Cleff playing this with a lead. Another little factor in this right now is if Cleff does get stopped, it's not necessarily the end of the world. So, take a look at what he does. So he goes on a shoot clock. He snaps the ball lower here. 3rd and 3. He gets up to about 4th and 1. Now you're going to probably realistically snap the ball. This will probably be the last play of the third quarter. If Dcroft does stop him here, Cleff only needs a field goal to win the game. So Cleff is also in a position, it's not hard to get a field goal in this game, where you're in a really kind of controlling position of the game here. Does a good job anyway, getting to the X cross corner, just calls a good high-quality combo, makes a good high-quality read. Now you're going to get this, did he go to bounce there? He did not, okay. Or whatever, it doesn't matter, 3rd quarter, but he's going to get this thing down to the 4th quarter. Shoot clock is on, and put your 4s up in the comments if you made it this far in the video. I hope you guys enjoy these film rooms. I love talking Madden. I love trying to study these games and just learn from the best players in the world. 38-22, but you're in field goal range. What do you do here? How do you handle this situation? If it was me, there are a lot of scenarios you could do. You could just try to score, okay, and go up 2 touchdowns. You could run the ball. Cleff here, he's going to run the ball, at least on 1st down, kind of see what he gets. 2nd and 13, at that point, I just pass. I would not run the ball on 2nd and 13. But it is kind of a situation where you can afford to clock a little bit, because if you get a field goal, you're in a 2-possession lead. So here he's going to go to a passing play. He literally just ran 2 streaks. And he scored a touchdown on that play. The fact that this play just scored a touchdown is crazy to me. So look, I don't know what I would... Why 2 streaks here? I would assume he meant to put one on a curl. I just don't understand that. But this kind of goes to show how to use the tight end slant. So you see here, Dcroft's got this 10-yard flat that's kind of midpointing here. And so he has this really nice, easy throwing lane on this slant. You see right in there. Cleff's going to go ahead and playmaker him because he can. But even if he doesn't playmaker him, this is still about a 15 to 20-yard slant ultimately. And so it's a great route to be able to use in situations like that. It's one of the most underrated used combos in the game. The slant, basically using a slant as a form of a crosser or as a form of a short post, is really, really good. And pairing it with a flat and then some type of clear out over the top, like what he did right there with a streak, flat, and the slant underneath it. Very, very underrated combo in this year's game. Very, very underrated. All right, so you get your 2-touchdown lead, 4 minutes, 28 seconds. Dcroft's life on the line. Basically, literally got stopped 1 time on a 4th and inches, and that's really been the difference in the ball game. And that's how I would love it to be, man. There wasn't a whole lot of crazy fluke in this game. Dcroft got a kick return, but, it didn't really change things that dramatically. The end of half stuff was really well managed by both sides. And here you're going to see Dcroft trying to get big plays, trying to get it back quick. Going to go to drive, halfback under. Short side bunch combo here from Dcroft. Going to flip it into the wide side. And he's kind of going back to the post. Running back in. Nice switch stick into a tackle there from Cleff. And now you're basically going to get a pass commit on every play from Cleff. You're also going to get a bend but don't break cover 4 or cover 3 shell, basically. Force you to take your underneath. There, Dcroft has to throw it away. And now we get into a 3rd and 2 situation. From the 45, double drag. And you're just going to see this pass commit all the way through here. Dcroft having to check it down. And really for Cleff, it's like, how long can I make him take to score? Right? How much time can I make him take on the drive? That's the basic question. It's a nice read there to the post route. It's a good switch from Cleff onto the corner. But you're 1st and 10 from the 15. He does still have all his timeouts, so if he scores here, all is not lost. Good switch there from Cleff. Almost got him with that return route. 2nd and 10 from the 15-yard line for Dcroft. 3 minutes and 18 seconds left in one of these guys, Madden 26 season. Got a little flip wheel. He's gone to this. He actually hit it there in a nice spot. Nice little pocket there. 1st and goal from the 2. That wheel route's a real interesting route. It really is kind of gets into an odd spot of the field. Hard to switch stick probably. Goes to the trio. Should be a half QB blast there. It is. And QB blast, really good red zone run. If you're in bigger dimes, QB blast, really one of the better short yardage running plays in the game. There's like very specific things you have to do to stop it, which is what makes it good. It's going to go to flood pylon with that running back speed in and then put a good trips combo around it. And looking for that back in and hits it in the back of the end zone there. Nice. That 2-point conversion was really important. The reason why that 2-point conversion was really, really important there was because if Cleff gets 3, which he basically is in position to do here, right? He's already pretty much in field goal range. If he gets 3, Dcroft still has a chance to go tie the game and get it to overtime, where anything can happen. Like if you're in Dcroft's shoes, you're really just trying to get this thing to overtime more than likely. So he can kind of afford to play basic defense here. Cleff going to go to a little return right over the middle. Nice read from Cleff, able to hit that Andre Johnson and now 100% in field goal range. So regardless, Dcroft's going to have a massive hole to climb out of, even if he gets an opportunity to do it. And here we see inside zone. So I'm shocked. Cleff untargeted his user. Why he did that, we will never know. But his user came in free. Don't know why you would do that one. Not sure. We've been running successfully on that look all game, and we decided when we actually want to get a couple positive yards, we would prefer to untarget the user. Not sure why we did that one. Maybe he thought he could like cut back and get in there, but I don't know. It just didn't work out. And I mean, it's a drive killer because now you're 3rd and 12. You're in such a good position to win this ball game. If you're Cleff, you're just trying to get out of the game. What do you do here, 3rd and 12? You probably almost throws an interception. You see Dcroft stand up on him. And I thought this was a bad read by Cleff. I mean, it's easy, but he goes to this play. We've seen this a lot this game. It's out route, crosser, and then that. And we've seen this also in big play scenarios. Here he's going to use a slot fade, not a flat. But anyway, right here, what Cleff has done 99% of the game is he throws this and cuts up and gets a lot of yards. For whatever reason, Dcroft's user standing over here on the right side of the field, and Cleff just throws a blind one to the crosser. I mean, I don't know if he was expecting Dcroft's user to snap back on the running back route or what. The crosser also did get bumped quite a bit. So there's that. They both kind of feel like unfortunate. Dcroft wanted an interception. Cleff wanted a dot. And it could just be a bumping issue, but maybe Cleff thought he was going to get him to a spot of the field that he didn't. And with switch stick, you kind of need to throw things on time. Otherwise, if you throw late, you're going to throw a lot of picks against switch stick. So all that, all's well that ends well, though. He doesn't throw an interception. He gets his 3. He's now up by 8. Basically can't lose this game. Okay. He's also in a position where if Dcroft scores, like right here, like Dcroft's going to get the kick return. It's not the end of the world. Like Dcroft's giving himself some positive self-talk. But 47-48, you have an opportunity to stop him on the 2-point conversion. You also, or 46-48, so he has to get this. You also have an opportunity to go down and score a field goal, win the ball game. So see what ends up happening here. Dcroft going to call his best stuff down 2, and he's going to scramble up there and get it. And you see Dcroft, just the passion just oozing out of his face, man. Cleff just locked in boxer mode mentality. We'll see what he ends up able to do. Minute 44, though, you still have all of the control over the game. Going to get the ball. I thought that was going to go to the 35, but didn't. End up being a 20. And really, for Cleff, you put a couple plays together, just like you did at the end of the first half, and you'll be able to just kick field goal and move on to the semifinal matchup. Nice little scramble there from Dcroft. And what's really frustrating is we missed what just happened, and also the fact that Cleff scored here. Questionable clock management by Cleff really throughout this game, and also yet another time here. They will show a replay of this play. Shout out to, again, the broadcast. We got to have some level of accountability. Every single event we miss critical plays in a game because we're looking at instant replays. Maybe we should consider doing something they do in the real NFL called a TV timeout or something. I don't know, but it has to be better. I can't stand missing these critical plays. But anyway, they do show a replay here. So basically, Dcroft says, you know what? Let's just blitz everybody. Why he does this, I don't know. He doesn't have 3 timeouts. I don't think it's an accident either. It doesn't really, it might have been a rim commit, but it doesn't really look like it. Regardless, Cleff, he has this guy open. He hits him. Now, right here, this is my 2 cents. Why score a touchdown? Why score a touchdown here? Because you got to think about it like this. So if he let's just say, field goal range is probably right here. Okay. So if he goes right here, falls down. You still have a lot of room to be able to work with if you actually need to pass, but I don't think you even need to do that because you're going to go down right here. And when you go down, it's a minute 40, and Dcroft's going to call a timeout, and then you're going to run the ball 1 time, and then he's going to call a timeout, and then you're going to run the ball 2 more times, which is going to get the clock down to, I would say, 40 seconds. And then you're going to kick a field goal. You might even get an additional 30 off that. Dcroft's going to have the ball with 10 seconds, no timeouts. What can he realistically do? And again, I don't know the number off the top of my head, what it would actually be. But Cleff ended up deciding to score. So he is up 7, but Dcroft does have a chance to answer back. Dcroft has plenty of timeouts here. So again, another really odd situation. It does seem that Cleff just maybe trusts his defense. I don't know. But anyway, 2nd and 10 there. I just thought, you have a chance to really, kind of finish the game, and he just didn't. Now you're 3rd and 6. He's playing good defense. He is going to be able to pass him every time. I'm also just absolutely shocked that Dcroft is an empty pass protection against Dollar. Not sure why we're doing that one. Because watch the D tackle. He's getting walked back every single play. I just don't know. Maybe it's opening up scrambling gaps. I don't know. Anyway, 38. Dcroft ultimately has to score here, though, so field goal is really not going to help him. Flip the wheel route and throws basically what should have been an interception. I thought this was just a bad route combo. I mean, it's fine. but look where the running back's at. So right there, Cleff's able to basically guard two people with one player. It's not a great sign of a route combo. I mean, I get it. Like he's gonna cut up, and then this guy's gonna go right underneath it, but I just didn't think this was an incredible route combination. Also, our crosser, I mean, yeah, it's just not necessarily the wrong read, but he kind of threw it a little too early. But anyways, 55-48, second and 10 from the 38. Gonna go with and just gonna get sacked there. And now you're kind of in a tough spot. You know, with no timeouts, with needing to score 7, you are in a hard spot. Dcroft's also just calling. It's not calling the best stuff. That was a nice one though. I mean, hits that. But most of his plays are kind of, I don't know. I was just surprised he didn't call like a deep slot fade, try to get that over the top or something. There was really, I don't know. And he's going to throw a pick. So, yeah, that's kind of what was going on in this drive. Is Cleff was right there over and over and over again, and he calls a good play here, but Cleff just switches it. I mean, where he's throwing it is open, but he doesn't kind of get it upfield enough, I guess, and kind of ball just kind of sails and just doesn't get a good play. And CTG able to put him down. That's going to be the end of Dcroft's Madden 26 season. CTG is going to move on to the semifinal matchup. I want to appreciate you guys for hanging with me, watching this one. A lot to learn from both these guys. A lot of things that you have questions about after this one. But at the end of the day, Cleff gets the job done. He wins the game, and he's able to move on to the next round.